And so we finally get to my all-time favourite Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life. I know what you're saying. It's Christmas Eve, Brian. Surely you should be reviewing your favourite on Christmas Day. No, I'm going to review another one tomorrow on Christmas Day. Something I think is maybe a bit more relevant for the period. So, my favourite film of Christmas time, my favourite Christmas movie is this one. I'm reviewing it today, Christmas Eve. It's a classic. What is not to love about It's a Wonderful Life? If you don't know the story, I don't know where you've been hiding, but it must be under a rock. Basically, we have this man called George Bailey, played brilliantly by James Stewart, and he essentially just wants to leave his hometown of Bedford Falls. He just can't wait to get out. Yet every time he has the opportunity to do so, he ends up sacrificing it in order to help someone out. He basically ends up just giving of himself to other people all the time, which means he never gets to fulfill his dream of going elsewhere. Now, things get pretty bad for him, and he kind of wants to end it all. He's had enough. But then he's visited by an angel named Clarence, who shows him what life would have been like had he not been in it. That's life for other people. So all the people he's touched personally that we've seen throughout the film, we get to see where they would be now if he had not been in their lives. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's brilliant filmmaking. It's brilliantly written, and it's brilliantly directed by Frank Capra. All the performances across the board are absolutely fantastic. There is humour in tons of it, and the story itself is just, for me, a better version of Scrooge. Now, that might be sacrilege to some people, and I certainly love the story of Scrooge. A Christmas Carol is undoubtedly a classic, and this film certainly wouldn't exist without that. It clearly draws on inspiration from that story, that Charles Dickens story. But I just prefer the hope of this film, the hope in humanity, by following a character that actually isn't so bad that he needs to change, but is actually so good, but he just can't see it. He doesn't see it in himself because that's just who he is. He's just naturally good. He doesn't want anything in return. He doesn't do it to gain personal glory and gain fame in people's books. He's just a good man who can't help but do the right thing. And that's what I love about this character. It's what I love about the story. And I think none of us are going to get to see the true impact that we have in other people's lives, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen when we go beyond the grave. But the privilege that this character has of being able to see just how important he has been in the lives of others it's a beautiful thing to watch. Absolutely beautiful thing to watch. And by the time we get to the closing scene, in which everybody rallies around to help him, it just really touches the heartstrings. And if you don't feel like at least having a little tear in your eye by the end, then you are just cold-hearted and inhuman. I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel. This is a perfect film. I give it a 5 out of 5. Like I say, the performances across the board are absolutely brilliant. Jimmy Stewart is absolutely incredible throughout this film. Some of the subtlety that he conveys actually in some of the performances. There are scenes like at the train station when he goes to pick up his brother and finds out that he's got married, and you see him weighing things up. His brother is committed to coming back and taking over the business, but at the expense of giving up this new job he's been offered. And you see, just within a couple of seconds, like literally from the moment it takes James Stewart to walk from this one position over to the spot where his brother's new wife is, you see the thought processes going on in his head, and it's all in the eyes. And there are many times throughout this film where Stewart does that, where he conveys so much emotion, so much thought and feeling just in his eyes. And also Lionel Barrymore as Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter is, without doubt for me, one of the greatest on-screen villains in cinema history. And he actually gets away with his crime, so to speak. He ends up being the person who's essentially responsible for George Bailey's dark turn in the last act of the film because of something he does. And he never gets caught for it. He never gets arrested. He never gets found out. He essentially gets away with it. But he's a bitter and twisted old man. He is Scrooge. He's basically the Scrooge character, only, we're not seeing things from his perspective, we're seeing it from a different character's perspective. We're seeing it from George Bailey's perspective. He's the guy we're following. But this film could just as easily be about Mr. Potter, and we just have another version of Scrooge, only in this one, Scrooge wouldn't get any redemption. But yeah, Lionel Barrymore, who plays him, really, I think some people might find that he goes overboard with it, but I think it's necessary. Just for how bitter and twisted this guy is, you need that kind of over-the-top performance, which Barrymore gives, and it's absolutely brilliant. Like I say, it's one of my favourite villains in cinema. Donna Reed as Mary Hatch, George Bailey's wife, is also very good in this film. She brings an awful lot of charm to this, and she's a strong, independent woman, but she also, is happy to be a homemaker, happy to kind of do up the house and raise the kids, but without giving up that strength that really makes her character so endearing. Yeah, again, another great performance there. I love the scenes with the family around here, and when George Bailey starts to lose it towards the end and he has a bit of an outburst in front of his kids, there's this moment where one of his kids asks Mary, should we pray for Daddy? And she says yes. And that bit every time just really gets me. Just the way this family knows that, that their man, that whether it's their father or their husband, they come together in order to really kind of get him back on track, in order to get him out of this darkness, get him out of this tight spot. And it's just a beautiful, touching moment that really always brings a tear to my eye. If you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life, I strongly urge you to see it. It is absolutely brilliant. It is a classic. It is widely regarded as a classic and one of the best Christmas films of all time, and rightly so. In my book, it is the best Christmas movie of all time. I give it a 5 out of 5, straight down the line. I watch it every year, and it's note perfect. So if you've seen it, It's a Wonderful Life, I want to know what you think. Please comment below, let me know, and until tomorrow, thanks for watching.